Reminders are a tool to notify you when it's time to run a specific task, such as paying payables when they're due or paying your monthly bills. To start out, let's go up to Setup and Reminders. We're going to click our New button at the bottom. And the first reminder we're going to do is to pay your payables when the due date comes up. So we're going to call, the message will be whatever you want to title this reminder to represent. So we're going to call this Payable Payments Due. We can click our lookup on the type, and there are different type of reminders that we're going to go through, but we're going to start with the payable reminders. And when we click OK, selecting the type will make that particular tab active. On the payables, we can choose to have the reminder come up on the due date, and it's going to be looking at the due date when you enter the vendor invoices and you have the due date. It will be using that due date to determine when this reminder should come up. You can have it either come up on the due date, or if you wanted to alert you a couple of days before that actual due date, then select prior to due date and put in how many days prior that you want. You can make this reminder be for all the types of payables, which are credit cards, payroll liabilities, or accounts payable. We're just going to make this one for accounts payable. And being that accounts payable balances are tracked for individual companies in that particular database, we'll need to select the database also. You can click your lookup and we'll pick our company. On the action, on reminders, you can either have it take you to some screen, or you can just choose to it be a reminder and not take you to any particular screen in CenterPoint, which would be no action taken. We want this reminder to take us to pay invoices due. So we're going to click the action button. Down at the bottom, uncheck that checkbox, no action taken, and then you select which particular menu that you want it to go to. So we're going to go to Processes, Purchases, and Pay Invoices Due, and then click OK. And when this reminder comes up, it's going to take us right to Pay Invoices Due, ready to pay those payables that are due. And we're ready to click Save. And that added our first reminder. For our next reminder, we're going to click New again. And this time we're going to make a reminder that is for our scheduled batch that we run every month for our monthly bills. So we can just call this one Monthly Bills Paid on the 15th. I'm going to click our lookup again, and this time it's going to be a scheduled reminder. We can put a description in here too if we want. Bills paid the 15th. And now our scheduled tab is active. So we'll click our scheduled tab, click on action, and we're going to uncheck this box again, and this time we want it to go to batch transactions because we have a batch, a reoccurring batch, that has all of our monthly bills that we pay at the same time every month, and they're due on the 15th. So we want it to take us to batch transactions. And now we can tell it how we want this reminder to be used. So on this case, it's going to be monthly. And you could have a batch that was maybe a quarterly payment, and you would just check the months that you want it to be coming up. In this particular case, it's for a monthly batch, so we're going to check all of the months. And then you can either alert on the day of the month, such as the 15th, or you can be reminded on the first, second, third, fourth, or last of any given day of the week. So whichever works for this particular schedule that you want. We're going to leave this one at the 15th. And if you check this box, display reminder only on this date, that means that reminder will only come up on the 15th in this case. But if perhaps you don't turn your computer on the 15th, and you want it to come up even though it's past the 15th, then you want to leave that checkbox unchecked. And we're going to click Save on this reminder. And the last example we're going to go through is more like an alert. And the alert that we want is to warn us if our checking balance is below, let's say, $1,000. We're going to click our type again, and this time it's a conditional balance reminder. And we're going to be cash below 1,000 is the description. The users down at the bottom, if you have multiple users, these reminders can be assigned just to particular users also. And you would move, this particular one has only one user, but if you have multiple users, you would move just the users over to the right that you want using this reminder. We're going to now go to conditional. And we're first going to select the account. So it's going to be our checking, which is cash. Okay, and you're going to use your right arrow, move that to the right, and then add that filter. Now we're going to have it look at that checking account, and we want it to warn us when that book value is less than 1,000. And add that filter. And the action we're going to take is, we don't really need an action on this one. It's just an alert to tell us that as we're entering our payments, if that checking balance goes under 1,000, it's going to give us an alert so we can take care of that. And we're going to go ahead and save that. Now that we have our reminders set up, we need to go to preferences and set our preferences, how often do we want our reminders to come up in order for these to start working. So click on File and Preferences, go to the General section, and we'll need to scroll down to Reminders. The reminders can be set either at the application level, meaning anything in CenterPoint, no matter what database you're in, or it can be just at the database level. So if you want different reminder settings for different databases, you choose database, or again at the user level if you had different users. We're going to go to the application and set, it either is not set at all, meaning that it's just going to use a default, or you can choose to never have the reminders come up, or always come up, meaning it will come up whenever it finds anything, or only when tasks are due. So only when tasks are due means it'll come up when it finds a due date that needs to be done, or it's the 15th, for example, in our monthly bills, or when our checking goes below 1,000. And then you get to choose how often you want to check for new reminders. So we're going to set it at yes on that we wanted to check for new reminders on this frequency. And then you can either have it by the minutes or hours or days. So you might only want it once a day, or in the case where you have the conditional reminder of checking your checking and you're doing a lot of payments, then you might want it every 15 minutes or maybe every 10 minutes. Depends upon your situation. But once you have these set of how often you want the reminder to come up, you're going to click Save, and now these reminders will start for you. If you also want to just check on reminders, because you had it set at once a day, and maybe during the day you want to see if there are any reminders, you can always go to View and click on Reminders. And we see here that there is a payable payment based on our reminders that we have set up.